Vision Radio Show with your host, Lonnie Clark. We stand together and accept that we now live in a world transformed by Fukushima. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on UCY.TV radio. We relentlessly engage every ear that listens. We expose and confront the complete lack of accountability for the nuclear industry. Consider social engineering programs who view our bodies, minds, and souls as assets on a balance sheet. We discuss vital current issues, interview activists, and engage our audience in an effort to allow all voices to be heard. The Age of Vision radio show creates a venue that all will choose. We encourage our listeners to reclaim their power and their courage to take action and save our planet from the ravages of greed and indifference. Our actions matter. Every voice matters. We remind our listeners that happiness is resistance. Love is greater than fear.
Good morning, UCY.TV radio listeners. This is Lonnie Clark with the Age of Fission radio show. I want you to know that it's actually the afternoon for us. I'm pre-recording this today. It's Wednesday, August 10th, and I am speaking with Alex Cohen, who is a citizen, a concerned citizen, and a person who's affected by the pollution from the Westlake landfill. He and a group of his friends, I saw a Facebook posting. They are going to be doing something on Monday the 15th, August 15th. That's like 3 days from now. So I decided, I called him, I approached him and asked if he wanted to be interviewed so he can talk about his concerns and his action. Because Monday is a few days from now, and we're going to put this on Facebook, and we certainly expect all the listeners who live in St. Louis and the surroundings area to go and participate with him. So, Alex, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for being here and for your activism and for loving humanity enough to take some action.
Thank you for having me.
Well, tell me a little bit about yourself first. Introduce yourself as much as you want to the listeners. Tell us where you live so we can get some context, and explain to us how the pollution from the Westlake landfill affects you, if it does at all personally.
So, I grew up in St. Louis, up in Maryland Heights area, which is North County. I now live down in South County area. But
how long did you live up there?
I lived up in North County for my whole childhood and probably moved after I graduated high school.
Okay. And you're young now. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
20.
Okay.
But I actually didn't know about the landfill because a lot of people in St. Louis don't unless you search for it, because it's not well put out there by the authorities, or at least it wasn't for a long time. And I found out about it probably 2 years ago. And when I found out about it, I couldn't stop researching and connecting dots to certain things, like why it smelled in North County, and finding out more about it. And then I went to the first EPA, or not the first, but the first one I attended, it was the EPA dialogue meeting that they had with the community, and I participated in the protest beforehand and then into the meeting, and that's when I really got involved, because I sensed that they didn't care. The EPA didn't care about our concerns or what was happening to our community.
That's actually true. They don't care. I mean, your trajectory is very similar to mine. I found out that nuclear was even harmful maybe in 2012 when I had a nightmare. I wasn't really even aware. I went to the internet and discovered you can't find much. So then I started digging and doing research, and I'm like, oh, do you know that actually Dr. John Goffman, who was basically chased out of the industry because he did not give them the answer that they wanted, he and Dr. Goffman were hired to study the health. This is what they wanted. They wanted Dr. Goffman and Dr. Tamplin to find ways to make the nuclear waste useful to the human body and incorporate it and show us how it could be helpful. That was their dream. This is serious from the Lawrence Livermore Laboratory. This is part of the directive. If that couldn't happen, then they were expected to say that it was at the very least not harmful to human health.
I did not know that.
Yes, and when they came back and unequivocally said there is no safe level of internal nuclear radiation, like right now when the EPA has these standards, they're talking about external radiation. We have a very high, our skin protects us, but as we've seen in St. Louis, a 32nd of a billionth of a gram of plutonium is lethal. They have been studying, Dr. Gilmedi in New Mexico has been studying dogs for 30 years. Thousands and thousands of dogs a year are experimented on by these sick people. Instead of saying that it's harmful, let's figure out how to stop it, they continue to deny.
Yeah. And I think that's the scariest part is that when your community is, dying and getting sick in front of your eyes, and the cancer clusters and sickness clusters are right by this radioactive mess, and then to have the people that are supposed to, protect you, look at you in the eye and tell you, oh, you're making a big deal out of nothing, or, oh, there's nothing to worry about. And it's like, how can you look someone in the eyes and say that when we are dying? That's what blows my mind.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that directly, because that's exactly how this is where my outrage comes. Exactly. This is why I have refused to let go of St. Louis. It has not been an easy project for me. But this is why. How can these people at the Environmental Protection... do you know that the Environmental Protection Agency is considering and likely will pass new regulations that say in the event of a nuclear emergency, they're raising the radiation level limits?
What?
Yes. Until the emergency is over with. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. The commentary period was, we talked about it on my radio show, the commentary period for this just closed. That does not stop you from calling the EPA and saying, I just heard about this is an outrage, you cannot do that. I live in St. Louis, we see what happens when you raise the radiation limits. They're astounding. It is something like iodine 131, they're going to raise it by over 3,000%.
That is ridiculous.
Cesium is like 80% higher, in their eyes, not that much higher. It is, I commented and I said, we're paying you money to tell us we're being poisoned? We don't.
Exactly.
That doesn't make sense. We're paying you to protect us and stop we need to close.
Exactly.
It needs to be closed down. The industry, it is a failed experiment, folks. It doesn't work. You can't bilk the government anymore. The taxpayers are not, unfortunately, like in New York and in St. Louis, taxpayers don't have a choice. Because your own senators, your congressmen, your state representatives, they all vote with the nuclear industry 100% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so hard a lot of the times to know what to do because there's so many things wrong.
Bodies in the street. Didn't you see that story in China? Bodies in the street count. That's why when I saw you taking this action, I'm like, let's do your radio interview on Friday. So when it airs on Friday, people can listen to it all weekend long, and I'm going to make it so that on Friday, it will be uploaded on my channel. It's Creative Commons on UCY TV. Do you know what that means? That means you can copy it onto your own YouTube channel.
Okay.
So you can do the same with me. I always upload it myself. I started learning how. It took me like a year of doing this program to figure it out, but I did figure it out. I can now copy the program onto my own YouTube channel, and that's what I do every show now. So it's on UCY TV plus my own. My YouTube channel is Nuts for Art. That's NUTZFORART, Nuts for Art.
Okay.
Because prior to learning about Fukushima and the radiation and the lying IAEA and the monsters who don't care about humanity and life, I actually loved art and juggling and doing all kinds of stuff like that. So I have puppet shows I do on my YouTube channel. I'm making some new puppets. I have Mr. Nuclear Man.
Nice.
So
yeah,
tell us, let's get back to you, Alex. I hate to get off of this subject on the general. I want us to really pound the information on what you're doing on Monday the 15th, correct?
Yes.
Okay, tell us where, when, and what you want people to do.
So it is, Monday the 15th outside of the Bridgeton Recreation Center. And it's actually the EPA is holding their community dialogue meeting.
Oh, great.
So it'll be before the meeting. So there's an open house the EPA is hosting from 5 to 6, and where they want people to come and ask questions. And then from 6 to 8 is the actual meeting where they're supposed to talk about partial removal of the waste from West Lake or full removal, and talk about that. And so in the past, we've always protested before these meetings, but a lot of the times people leave frustrated as if the EPA didn't listen, and, even when they go inside the meeting. So I figured this time, let's create an event beforehand that is more of like kind of holding our own meeting outside.
Right.
And make it very well documented and have like a station where people can handwrite letters to the EPA, so that way people don't leave with a feeling of like helplessness or hopelessness, like their questions were still heard, and have like a live social media station where like we're tweeting directly to congressmen or tweeting directly to EPA, and then obviously as the EPA pulls in for the meeting, they'll see us outside. So that's the goal. I wanted to change it to more of like just a protest, but like holding our own meeting where we have control.
An action protest. I love that. Let me ask you this. So you're going to tweet and put things on Facebook at your center there, and then you're going to have a blanket letter that people, like a general letter that people can sign, or a petition, or what? I mean,
more of like just pens and paper and have people write
their
handwritten letters.
You know what?
Yeah, and then we'll put it in like a package. You might also want to get
some type of just a general form that says, "Dear so-and-so, I object to," and then have a big blank. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely,
So people don't have to write this big, long story. Just have, like, what the complaint is and what their health effects are. And then before you give it to the EPA, take a picture of every one of them, because you're not going to have a copy machine, but you can take a picture of every one you turn in, because you know those rats are going to throw them all away.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I want to have, like, a good visual component of, like people writing on their arms, like.
Oh my gosh, you could tweet a picture of it every time you give them someone signs a letter or do something, ask them if they would mind. You could tweet a picture of it out on the Twitter.
Exactly, and I love visual art.
Send it to Claire McCaskill, Roy Blunt, Lacey Clay, all those people, and everybody on that committee who defunded. Did you know that they lowered the funding for the fuse wrap budget for the next year, and both of your senators, to just move the bill along, agreed to it?
I did not know that.
That is astounding.
It's crazy they did that after they just passed our bill to get it transferred to fuse wrap too.
Well, this is the thing. Yeah, they can. That's what Lacey Clay's office. He actually said that to me on the air. I called him from the radio show. His office was super cool. They talked to me. And they said, look, even if we get the bill passed, we're talking funding. We have to have funding. And so everybody
Right.
fights over a small piece of pie. So I found out, I think it used to be $112 million. That's all we allot. And then every year since 2010, since the Republicans have been in control, they cut a slice of the budget, which they did again.
So they just did it again.
Yes, they did. Yes, and I'm pretty sure that your senators agreed to it.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah, that is definitely something to keep in mind that I did not know.
Vote to reduce fuse wrap 2017 budget. That's what we're looking at, the 2017 budget. So let me just ask this, because really, honestly, it's unbelievable that they did that. Yeah, they actually did. 7th Missouri, the fuse wrap, 104. Proposed budget is now at $104 million. It used to be 112. Now it's 104.
It's not like the problem is going away for them to have any reason to cut that budget. Well, if anything, it needs,
This is what I would say. If they have good reason, they ought to tell us. You know
right.
what I mean? Instead of just like not making it an issue and refusing to meet with us, that kind of stuff. Like they ought to tell us why they can't, because this is so outrageous. We're without information. You know what I mean? And it makes people suffer even worse. We're suffering. I mean, I honestly, I don't live there with you. Any of you. I've passed through St. Louis at the airport. But I feel like you are my people. We are one America, are we not? I mean,
exactly.
How can I not feel the same? Although I have to say, I'm lucky because I live in Eugene, Oregon, and I'm pretty much downwind at the Hanford. Although my daughter lives in Portland, and she is excessively exposed to high levels of radiation from the Hanford, from the Columbia River, which is highly toxic. One of the biggest dead zones in the country is at the mouth of the Columbia River in the Pacific. It's one of the 7 dead zones on the... Yes. Now, Alex, I'm like you. I started finding out just a few years ago. So, and I'm 60. So there's a commonality here. Let's think about this. We have the EPA who deadpan... You know what Dr. Goffman said? He studied, after he got drummed out of the nuclear industry, he went back. He was shocked to find our government destroyed all the documentation that they had on the women and children of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which they did after World War II.
Destroyed it all.
Yes, but they kept track of all the men, so all of our documentation is mostly about the men, a very small portion. They did keep some women and children, but most of it was destroyed. He went back and studied him after 20 years, and this is what he discovered. Yes, he found all the epidemiological horrendous things that you could imagine. It confirmed his information that he and Dr. Tamplin discovered that babies in utero, small children, young girls especially, and young people up to the age of about 26 are much more, and the smaller the body, the more rapidly the harm, because their molecules are multiplying. So the radiation is perceived as a healthy element in its body, so it multiplies it. That's why they're more affected. That's in very simple terms. Let me put it that way. It's only if it's taken externally. We have a very thick skin, literally, from the radiation. Not very much can affect us from the radiation if it doesn't get inside of our body cavity somehow. Which all it takes is a little tiny bit. So he also discovered this in his studies. He said that the International Atomic Energy Agency, which is run out of the UN, and the AEC, which is now the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the United States government, most of the world governments, and the United States military all deny that radiation causes harm immediately. And then they only they underreport 90% of the negative effects. They only report 10%. They will deny. Think about what's going on in St. Louis, what the levels of radiation reports were prior to the Facebook page. What he said is not inaccurate. If the issue is we are not testing. Well, they only test for cesium-137, right? And a few other things.
Yeah.
But really, there's a handful. Look at all the nuclides. Look at the thorium. We know for a fact there's thorium there, but it's...
Exactly.
It's... So let's talk about it's going to be called the reason we're interviewing today, and we still have about another 30 minutes left, thankfully. So I'm speaking to Alex Cohen of St. Louis. He's just a citizen activist who grew up near North County and moved away after high school, right? So now, and you never even heard about it till 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 to 3 years.
Wow. So now they're trying something new to get the EPA to rattle its cage. See, the EPA is not going to budge. Do you know why? If they budge, they're all going to be held liable.
Yep.
They are all freaked out. Do you know that because of the Price-Anderson Act, nobody can be held accountable? If you've read the legislation, have you read the legislation, those bills in the Senate and the Congress?
No.
They're very simple. You should read them. Read the second article. You know what the second article says? It's a cost savings effect. This is from the Price-Anderson Act, although I think it's been improperly used because this is a DOD site. But the Price-Anderson Act caps the liability of the licensees in the event of their culpability. But the Price-Anderson Act also indemnifies, meaning nobody's held responsible. Nobody's going to go to jail. Nobody's going to be prosecuted for knowingly or unknowingly causing harm from nuclear pollution, whether they broke the law or not. They can do whatever they want.
That's how it always is in the government.
That's the law. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
It's time for that to end. I personally, you want me to tell you what, Alex? I'm going back to school. I'm starting, hopefully I've applied at the University of Oregon this year as a junior. I've just completed junior college. My goal is to become an attorney so I can go after the Price-Anderson Act. Because there's a group of attorneys, small group of young attorneys who work for that goal. And there are only 6 firms in the United States who represent taxpayers against the nuclear industry. And they charge exorbitant rates, and that has to change also. We have to change. We have to change this. Humans are not assets on a balance sheet.
Exactly.
I mean, we can't, and I believe that, that's why I'm so grateful for you, Alex, because you have decided to pick up the mantle. Explain again what you want to have happen at this event and what you think the best thing will happen. And if someone was to come, let's say a group of 4 or 5 people come to the event, and they arrive at 5 o'clock, say 4:45, you will be out there. Do you want them to come at what time? You want these people, instead of arriving at 4:45, to arrive at 4:15? Would that be enough time?
Well, we kind of, we're going to be there at 4, and so we want people to start coming from 4. We're going to stay outside, though, from 4 to 6, so, I mean, if anyone can make it between...
Are you going to set up after the meeting, afterwards, to get people to... I think that would be, if you could, I don't know if the city will let you, because I guarantee you, people are going to... You should have somebody at a desk outside and have them be able to, send complaints and be tweeting and have an activity desk, because people are going to be leaving pissed off, excuse my language.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have seen the meetings, I've watched them on the internet, and honestly, I don't know how you guys stay so civil. If it was me, I'd have been thrown out of there every time. Like Ron Wyden, my Senator Ron Wyden's office, they actually don't answer my phone calls. I have to block my phone calls because I call him directly to his face, get along to go along, Ron. I insult him because that's what he is. He is frying us up. He went to Fukushima 4 times. He knows how dangerous it is. Right now, Fukushima is in nuclear fission, folks. That's why the name of this show is called Fission. Post-Fukushima, the world has never seen anything like what's going on at Fukushima Daiichi. And they're talking about the frickin' Olympics. All of Tokyo is contaminated.
Yeah.
And all of St. Louis is contaminated. Listen, this is why a lot of these people just go, "What are you talking about? We live in a contaminated world. Get used to it."
And and the craziest thing about St. Louis is that this waste was distributed across all of St. Louis, like in Weldon Springs and Coldwater Creek and the airport side and Westlake Landfill. So it's like, I mean, this stuff throughout the years has just been illegally and irresponsibly transferred throughout the entire city of St. Louis. I mean, who knows where it is, because it is sat everywhere illegally with no, like, legal storage guidelines or anything.
Wow.
It's crazy.
So you think that, some of the citizens think that there might be other sites that are undisclosed? And the airport site and Weldon Springs and Coldwater Creek, those are all being remediated or have been by FUSRAP. And the only site that's left out is Westlake Landfill. And so that's another big thing. Well, like, the same waste that's sitting at Westlake Landfill is the same waste that was at all of these other spots that are being remediated. Why isn't Westlake, you know? Why is the EPA not subcontracting the Army Corps of Engineers if they don't know how to do it? That's the issue.
Exactly.
I mean, okay, so they can't do it, and even if they can't complete the job, they can start. They could get some of it gone. I mean, they could start a stab, even if they don't have the full budget. It's so outrageous. Right. I mean, if that's the question I would ask if I'm there, like, what's the reason when you guys go into these meetings and they're saying, well, at the EPA, when they give you these little EPA welcome to our little meetings, why don't they? Yeah. What are they saying why they can't move that?
Well, they say about the things that they have done and basically try to calm their fears, which they really haven't done anything.
I mean, they're in So what they're saying is that it should just ignore it. Don't worry about it. You can just keep it there. We don't have to move it.
They said you can keep it there. They talked about throwing rock and gravel over it as if that's going to do anything. They've talked about an interceptor wall. But they haven't even found a clean break between the fire that's burning, the underground landfill fire, and the radiation. So how can they build a wall when they don't even know where...
Explain that to me. They said that they can't find a clean break. What does that mean?
Well, so we know that they haven't found a clean break between the underground landfill fire and then the radioactive waste that's at the adjacent landfill.
So is that saying that the waste is mixed in with the fire?
Well,
the smoldering event, as they say it. The smoldering event.
Right. Well, no one knows for sure is the whole thing.
You know what? Let's just be clear. It's burning radiation. That's what it is.
Exactly.
I mean, what was Mary Osco's level of radiation in her house? Over 300 counts per minute. It stunned me.
Yeah.
On a regular basis. The radiation is burning somewhere.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's completely unreasonable for them to say it's... And this is... But see, Alex, you were exactly like me. This is why I so appreciate you. And I have to tell our listeners, this is really the first time he and I talked, because it's been a spur-of-the-moment idea. I saw it on Facebook yesterday. He gave me his phone number. I quit work at 5 o'clock, and here we are at like almost 6 talking, pre-recording, because I want to get this event attended by as many people. I mean, people need to stop by their booth. People need to support these actions in droves. I mean, as many people as you know ought to be showing up between 4 and 5 o'clock, so that when these people show up at 4:30 or the EPA gets there at 4:30 to set up and have their little community meeting, they're going to get really nervous.
Yeah, and I will say that I was on a caravan to the DNC, and it was called the Uptest Caravan, and so I brought the Westlake Landfill issue to the DNC. So we planned 3 direct actions. One of them was in Philadelphia City Hall, and one of them was at Vernon Park. And I got we had 30 people together, and 30 people laid down with gas masks on, and we did a die-in.
I saw that. Do you guys have that on a video? On a YouTube channel?
I do. I actually, right before you called, I got the official, documentary footage of it. So I should be having that soon that I can send over. But that dye-in technique was so effective because it makes people stop and listen.
Yes.
And so at the DNC, we effectively got like people that participate from California, from Oregon, from Colorado. Like once you find out about this issue or any radioactive issue that the government is so good at keeping secret, you can't not be on the right side of it.
Were you guys able to move this into any of the platforms, or have any of the people? I mean, I know Bernie's anti-nuclear, but what about the Clinton campaign? She's super pro-nuclear.
Yeah, I know, and so it was a lot of Bernie supporters that, well, it was kind of a Bernie caravan, but it was a lot of Bernie supporters that hopped on, and we went live with the first die-in, and we got like over 15,000 views, and
awesome.
Lacey Clay retweeted it on Twitter.
Awesome. Where is it posted? How did they get it? How did you do it?
It's on my page and then on someone else's page.
Did you just record it with a camera and then put it up, or did you put it on a YouTube channel or on a website somewhere, or what happened?
So it was, I went live from my cell phone on Facebook.
Oh,
so it's like on my personal page, but we also had a film crew that filmed it, and I'm about to get that footage sent to me.
Oh, great. And then, you can upload that film and put it on I like the YouTube venue because it gets out to lots of people. YouTube got to me. That's how I found out about Fukushima. It was very difficult to find. Kind of like if people were to go on
hi, UCY.TV radio listeners. This is Lonnie Clark,
really
and I
hard
am
to find
live
good,
now.
Solid information
unless
you find your way to the Facebook page. There
yeah.
is really great. And then you can trip onto the Just the Facts Coldwater Creek. I mean, it is such a benign thing. People in our country honestly don't know. And we have been trained to, even in your own city, I'm sure you get this, where people look like hurt dogs when you even mention it. Like they look like they're being beaten, and they are being beaten up. That's what it is on an unconscious level. This is why it's important for people in St. Louis to show up.
Yeah, and that's why that was the biggest realization for me at the DNC. We had 150 people on our caravan, and I'd say about 10 of us were from St. Louis. But once I told everyone about the actions we were being planned, people from, not all 50 states, but almost all 50 states had no clue and were like, this is crazy, I'm so sorry. And still these Californian women and these, moms from all these different states are calling and are like, what can we do? What can we do? And they're still sharing posts about it. And so we're trying to get it on a national level because, on our bill, HR 4100, that would move jurisdiction from EPA to FUSRAP, it's everyone's senators and congressmen are going to vote on it, so it's a national issue,
Yeah, but the thing is, the 4100, I think it's stuck in committee, but the reason has to do with the FUSRAP funding. That $114 million, and I don't know about you, but I was stunned to find out that we send billions of dollars every year to Israel, and we only spend $110 million to manage nuclear waste and all the chemical waste in this country.
Good morning, UCY.TV radio listeners. This is Lonnie again. Well, as you can tell, listening to my show over the last year, we just passed the 1-year anniversary. I was pre-recording that interview and did something incorrect, and that is where it cut off. We actually had a whole 35-minute conversation there. And so I believe, Alex, are you on the line with me? Alex is not on the line. I'm going to try to get Alex back on the line, but we are talking about Alex's, let me ask him to give me a call now that we're live. Alex has told me that I called him and let him know what happened to the interview. He is going to join us. So I'm going to ask him to give me a call, and then I'm just going to share with you the information on the Facebook page, because this is really important. Let's get back to the City of Bridgeton, Missouri Parks and Recreation. Let me give you the address. It's 4201
Fifi Road. Fifi Road, Bridgeton, Missouri, 63044. That's hilarious. Okay, so this is August 15th, people. Anybody in St. Louis who is listening, I'll get off of the topic of me being outraged at how much money we actually send to Israel while it's not $110 million. It is actually, hold on just a second. Oh, okay. It's actually, 105 million. They just defunded it. So, Alex, are you with us and can you hear us? Alex says he's still on the line, but I cannot hear him. So let me see if I can figure out a way to have him give me a call and join him in. Hold on just a second. We're sitting here. This is the new technology, folks. This is how we do it on UCY.TV radio. Alex, can you join us on the call? If you are available, please speak with us. Let me see if I can do something here. Alex, why don't you give us a call back at 718-717-8296. Hang up and I will join you back because I can't hear you on the call. So let's put it to you that way. I'm hoping that you can give us a call back. Hang up and give us a call back because I can't hear you and I can't actually see you on this call. So I don't know. Let me see if I can join you in here. Let me try one more thing. Well, hold on just 1 second, people. This is the music. I'm going to ask him to call back so that we can get him on because he says he's on the line, but I can't hear him. And so hopefully we'll be able to get him to join in on us right now. If not, let's talk about what the action is that we want people in St. Louis to do. And I apologize for not being like, hold on just 1 second. The number is 718-717-8296. Alex, if you need the phone number, it's 718-717-8296. So hopefully you can give us a call back. But in the meantime, let me go to the Facebook page for So Much Water because this is a group that is actually a group of young political activists who actually care about our planet and care about humanity. And they are giving a seminar. What they're going to be doing is giving their own information before the EPA comes to the community and starts with the blah, 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 the bunch of lies. You know, like, oh, don't worry, no one's being harmed. We're taking care of it. And no, we don't think that we should move it. That's the big thing with the EPA is they don't want to move it. They want to leave the Westlake landfill right there. Although all the other waste, everybody else believed all the other waste needed to be remediated and moved. For some reason, that one little slice of the pie that the EPA has a hold of, they are refusing to tell the people that they actually, ought to remediate the landfill. So what this is about, it's called the Informative Westlake Landfill Demonstration. Excuse me. And it is going to be on August 15th. And what they're going to be doing is before the EPA does their community meeting at 5 p.m., they're going to be out there at 4 p.m. on Monday, and they're going to have a desk with information. You can write a letter to your congressman, to your senator, to the EPA, and let them know exactly how you feel because it's important that they hear from you. And so this is a thing where we want people to come out on Monday at the Westlake Landfill. It's called the Informative Westlake Landfill Demonstration, sponsored by So Much Water on August 15th. And Alex, if you are listening, the phone number is 718-717-8296. Oh, I think he's here. Hold on just 1 second, and I hope. Okay, folks, I don't think I did that correctly. So let's see if I can actually add in a phone call. How about that? Let's see if I can do this one. Let's see if I can add Alex in. And I apologize for the grueling part of this, but I would really love for you to hear from Alex himself if it's possible. So let us see if that will work. And I think that is it. I don't know. Alex, are you there? No, Alex is not there. So we're just going to go without Alex, folks, because I think that we are, unfortunately, I don't think I can get Alex on the air. I'm just not that technically savvy right now. I'm out of town again, and I'm on my tablet. So I apologize for this, but let me go back to the Facebook page and read from you there, because this event is going to happen on Monday, and we have a group of young people who actually really, really do care. That's the thing. These are people who are spending their lives traveling around. Alex just found out about this a few years ago. So, like me, you know. So hold on. Alex is calling, but I don't think I know how to put him and join him into the radio show. So we're going to have to go without him, and I apologize to you, Alex. I hope you can come back, Alex, and we will do another interview, and we will do it live or pre-recorded, and the next time I pre-record an interview with you, I guarantee you I will do it correctly. So thank you for listening with us here at UCY.TV. It is Friday, and usually we have call-in Fridays on Fridays. However, obviously I'm not figuring out how to take the phone calls too well on this call-in Friday because I'm calling from my tablet. I'm up here at Federal Way, once again helping my niece finish up her big project with her dental work. So, yippee! I hope this will be the last time on the air at 8 o'clock in the morning in Federal Way. So, look, people in St. Louis, and this is why we changed the format today to interview someone, because we want people in St. Louis. As Alex was telling me, he only found out about the radiation a few years ago. Just like me, I only found out about Fukushima just a few years ago. I had no idea. So he grew up actually in North County up in St. Louis, and only found out like 3 years ago. And so, he has gotten active with this group called So Much Water. And I haven't actually found out if he was involved with So Much Water prior to finding out about the Westlake landfill or not. But all of these young people living in St. Louis are affected, and that is the way it is. That's the hard reality of it all. So it's really important for people to show up and bring someone who does not know, bring someone to the meeting. Oh, I just got a message from my producer that says tablets can't conference call on Skype. So that's the answer, Alex. My apologies going out to you completely. So, you know what? I really apologize for that. Hold on just 1 second. Let me let him. He's trying desperately to give us a call, so hold on. Tablets can't conference. So there we go, folks. It's been a call-in Friday. It's been a call-in Friday with a kind of a little bit of a technological twist. This is how we deal with it, man. This is how we roll in the United Soviet States of America these days. 2016. August 15th, we are going to need anybody who listens to this show and who lives in St. Louis or near St. Louis or within driving range of this address, 4201 Fee Road. Isn't that just like these people to name this Fee Road, Bridgeton, Missouri, 63044. Fee Road. That is hilarious. I have a friend of, she was my friend until she told me to leave her alone because I can't stop talking about the radiation. So that's what happened. Hold on. I'm letting Alex know. Hold on. I'm letting him know that the producer told me that I didn't know this. Oh, I didn't know this. Hold on. Sorry, Alex. So, anyways, folks, I want to go back to this Facebook page because the Facebook page is where we have to go in order to get the information because they do not have their grassroots effort. So Much Water is a grassroots effort. And it decided, this is the same group of kids who went out to the Democratic National Committee and did the die-in. If any of you saw those videos, that was this group of young people. And so they decided they're trying what they can desperately. They've gone out to these meetings before, but people just walk away. Like they come to the meetings, they come like 4:45, they get there. People get mad, they walk out, they storm out, and then the EPA goes back to their job making 100 grand or 150 grand, and all the better. Like nobody, like whatever. They just keep jerking people off in St. Louis. So what they decided they're going to do is give this whole thing called the Informative Westlake Landfill Demonstration. So, what this is going to do is allow people to put their thoughts on paper, hand it to the EPA. I suggest that they take a picture of every single one of it so they can document it because we know the rats at the EPA are just going to shit can them or trash can them. I'm sorry for cussing. I apologize. So on August 15th, from 2 to 4:30 p.m. It starts on Monday. They're setting up at 2 o'clock, I guess, from 2 to 4:30 p.m. The meeting from the EPA starts at 5. So they're going to go from 2 to 4:30 p.m. They're going to be out there and demonstrating and getting it, not just demonstration, they are going to be giving information. I mean, listen, this is what it says here. I'll open up the whole thing. I think we have enough time. We have about 10 minutes, and I can read this whole thing. So thank you, Alex Cohen, for putting this on, and So Much Water. I hope that you hear me. I hope you're able to listen to us live on www.ucy.tv/AOF. And that's our show live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. In Missouri time, that's 10 o'clock. So thank anybody out in St. Louis who is listening to this for listening to us. I hope you start looking at the rest of the shows on this channel. There's quite a variety of hosts and topics. Let's get back to this Informative Westlake Landfill, what's it called? It's a big long name. Demonstration. EPA will hold the Westlake Landfill Community Dialogue meeting on Monday, August 15th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Bridgeton Recreation Center at 4201 Fifi Road. EPA will also hold an open house immediately prior to the meeting from 5 to 6 p.m. The purpose of the meeting is to present information regarding the full removal and partial removal alternatives that are currently under consideration and to engage in dialogue regarding these two alternatives. So what the heck does that mean? Let's hear this. The purpose of the meeting is to present information regarding the full removal and partial removal alternatives that are currently under consideration, and to engage in dialogue regarding these two alternatives. EPA will also present an update regarding current site activity. Our action will take place before the meeting in front of Bridgeton Recreation Center. This is a peaceful gathering of a broken community coming together in love. This is a great sentence. This is a peaceful gathering of a broken community coming together in love. I added the first A. Here we will display on signs, in art, with spoken voice, the questions and concerns that need to be asked and addressed in the meeting with the EPA that will follow later that night. We are working on bringing you more details in regard to talking points and exact street location. More details will be released as they are solidified. For right now, the plan on being there and on making signs that are bold, to the point, with less than 10 words. So they don't want big wordy signs. They want big effective signs. The demonstration will start at 4 p.m. I get it. So from 2 to 4:30. So they're going to make signs from 2 to 4, and then they're going to demonstrate from 4 to 4:30. We want signs to be directed at EPA asking questions like, how many more children will it take? When will you move the toxic waste? When scientists lie, people die. Bastards. An interactive social media post will be established for effective and moving coverage. Wow. We are working on incorporating visual art to tell our toxic story. There will be a soapbox, hopefully accompanied with a form of voice projection, so that people from the community can share their toxic story. Doesn't that just really make you angry? That people even have a toxic story? This will be well documented. We want people to walk away from this demonstration with a feeling that their voice was heard by someone that cares. May it be through social media, the media, signs, handwritten letters, or storytelling. We will be working to share your story. We encourage you to attend the meeting after this demonstration. Your presence at the meeting is equally as important as it is at the demonstration. So don't just go to the demonstration from 4 to 4:30. Go to the meeting. It's very important. The city of Bridgeton will not allow us to be any closer than the entrance road at Fifi. Wow. Please show up and let the EPA know that we are watching their actions. And I would say, don't just show up with you. Show up with somebody who doesn't know about it. One of your friends, all of you out there, just like me, we all have friends and family members who don't want to talk about it, who would rather not. Just say, look, you know what? This is your community. Pretend it's a city council meeting and come with me, and let's just listen to it and listen to what people have to say and listen to what the EPA says and come to the informative demonstration. Help us make signs and ask our questions and write something down to give to the EPA people. It's really important to write a poem. Figure out a way to express yourself, because the EPA needs to have conscientious objectors, and the only way we're going to get to them is by us showing up in mass and shaking them at their roots so that they begin to understand how many people they are affecting. When scientists lie, people die. People are dying in St. Louis. They cannot decide to just cover it up. This is the insanity of it, folks. The EPA just wants to continue just to put rocks on top of it or put dirt on top of it and cover it up, and don't worry. It's in a floodplain. And besides that, all the other waste is being remediated. Like, why eliminate this one little, leaving it there, you might as well not have remediated all the other hundreds of billions of dollars we spent remediating it. Because if you leave it there, the site is not going to be clean. It will never get uncontaminated. You can leave it alone 50, 60 years after you remediate it, and it's relatively okay. Relatively. Although we don't know what's going to happen 8 to 9 generations from now, which is when the real harm to our DNA starts to show up, 7, 8, 9 generations. So, it is so outrageous. I just can't, I am actually just stunned. So, and let me get back to this Facebook page, because you know me, I get all excited about this stuff. Okay, any questions, please email Alex Cohen at soulmuchwater@gmail.com. That's SOULMUCHWATER@gmail.com, or call at 314-971-6304. Soul Much Water, STL Toxic Aware. That's the sponsors of this event. STL Toxic Aware. I don't know about you folks, but this really makes me mad. So they're not even being allowed to go into the recreational center. They can only go out to 4201 Fifi Road at the Bridgeton Recreation Center prior to the meeting. So you can't go sit outside, I guess, where the room is. You'll see them outside. But look, it is very imperative. How many people in St. Louis, this is what Alex and I were talking about, how many people in St. Louis actually know about it? Not very many. I think I read an article that's like 7 to 10%. That's That's 90% of the people. You know what? It's the 90% rule again, isn't it? Just like Dr. John Gottman said. Underreport the negative effects of radiation by 90% and deny radiation causes harm. They're still doing that. The EPA, the DOE, all of them, they're all doing it. It's so outrageous. It's unbelievably outrageous, folks. So, look, we have about 3 minutes left, and I want to thank everybody who has continued to listen to the show this morning. I hope you got something out of that interview with Alex. He's really exciting. I am definitely going to have him back on, either live or in a pre-recorded full interview where I am monitored to make sure I do the interview correctly, and I can actually get it pre-recorded and set up. The hard part about me interviewing the people in St. Louis is that they are 2 hours in front of me. So a lot of times when I'm not working, it's kind of too late for them, or they're working during the day. So we do end up doing pre-records. And as you found out today, I'm not a professional DJ host. Have never really been trained. It's like all by the seat of my pants, and I think I'm doing the best I can. So thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. And we need to call the EPA and tell them they need to get serious. Even if I'm going to make another phone call to them and email them. They don't care. They're sticking to the 90% rule. They are so invested in. They don't really care. They know that they've caused already irreparable harm. So they have really, what they've done, and they all know they're indemnified. Nobody's going to jail. So they can lie to us all they want. It doesn't matter to them at all, one little tiny bit. And they still make their salaries. They still get to send their kids to school, their children. And, this is the ironic part. If we took a picture of our country, the toxic waste, the radiological waste, it's not just Republic Services. In fact, Republic Services, their stock, they're all owned by a handful of the same filthy, disregarding monsters. And I call them monsters because they're just like trashing our planet without regard to anything. And it is time that we make them stop, and we can only do that with numbers. So thank you for joining us. Put your courage feet on, and you know what? Bring somebody to this, go to the Facebook page at the So Much Water Facebook page on Facebook. It's SOUL. So Much Water Facebook page. It talks about the informative Westlake landfill demonstration. So, it's extremely important that you bring somebody with you so that we can get a lot more people there. And put your courage feet on, people, because we definitely need it. Talk to you soon. Okay. I think we have about 20 seconds left. Wow, what a day, what a year. We're looking forward to making a difference on this planet. Put your courage feet on. Please show up in St. Louis. We definitely need people to show up. Bring someone with you. The EPA needs to hear us. They cannot continue like this. So, thank you for joining us, and we will talk with you soon.